and welcome to Game Domain, and for this video I'll be saying my thoughts on Xbox's press conference at E3 2017, and I thought there was going to be some um, announcements of new games, and of course the Scorpio reveal, and I was wrong. They had a ton of games, a lot were new, a lot were exclusives, and I have an Xbox One, but there's no game that I have on the Xbox that I think justified the purchase. I think it was just it took a few exclusives to get the Xbox One, and a lot of these games look really good. Just to name one, there was the new Metro game, Metro Exodus, which looks really good. The graphics look amazing. The gameplay looks really fun. I was not expecting a game like this, and it's an exclusive, which is even better. State of Decay 2 and Crackdown 3 will not newly announced games. We saw a lot more gameplay, and it looks very good. And of course, there were some other new games like Forza Motorsport 7 and Ori and the Will of the Wisp. So overall, there was a lot of games, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Sony's going to win," or a lot of people were saying, "Sony is going to lose to Xbox." And I think Xbox, it's going to be hard for Sony to beat Xbox because they had a lot of games. I think they had 40 games and over 20 were exclusives, and it was very interesting. Some of the things I didn't care for that much, but some of the things I did, like of course Crackdown 3, the new Metro game, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Cuphead. There was some new gameplay for that, and there was some things I don't really care about that much, like Minecraft. Like I mean, it's just a graphical upgrade for Minecraft, and Super Lucky's Tale. That doesn't really seem that interesting to me. It looks a lot like Bubsy, at least the art style does. The platformer I'm waiting for to see at E3 is Super Mario Odyssey. That is by far the game I'm looking forward to most at E3, and I'll find out more about that on Tuesday. And of course, I have to address the thing everyone was waiting for and was guaranteed to show up is the Xbox Scorpio, or now known as the Xbox One X. I'm not really sure about that name. There's the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X. I'm sure a lot of people will get confused. Of course, not like hardcore Xbox fans, but I'm sure a lot of kids might get confused, or if kids are asking their parents to buy the new Xbox and they say the Xbox One S by accident, I think they should probably chose something a little different because it sounds so similar. And I'm actually not mad at the price because a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be $700. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm okay with $500. I don't think I'm getting it. And if I ever do get it, it will probably be $400 when they drop the price, which is not that much when you think about it for what you're getting. It is very powerful, and they're probably going to be losing like 200, maybe even $300 on the Xbox One X. So you are definitely getting what you pay for. And if you don't have an Xbox One and you want to save up for this, then I would say wait until Christmas or something, or just wait to get it once you saved up enough money. But you'll probably be getting it for the holidays, because it does come out on November 7th. So that's when all the other games will be coming out. I'm sure a lot of these games will release after the Xbox One X because then they'll support it. And also, a lot of people have been skeptical, saying that yeah, the 4K games will look a little better. I don't know about that because some games like Anthem and um, Metro Exodus looked really good. I was watching it on a 4K TV, and I I really have to say it does look. It looks like some of the best graphics I've ever seen. I think it can be compared to Uncharted 4 with the level of detail. The lighting looked really nice, and all the special effects in the game, such as bloom, anthroposcopic filtering, it all just looked really good, and I think it will still look pretty good on the Xbox One now that the generation is almost over. At least that's my guess. I think 2019 is when the next gen consoles will release, if there even will be a next generation of consoles. And I think these games are probably going to be they're probably going to hold up well graphically until like mid next generation, because even though the hardware on consoles now is more like a PC, so it's not something like the last generation where the first few games look look like a different console compared to the last games. Like, think about it. Compare something like Prey on the Xbox 360 to something like GTA 5 on the Xbox 360. You can be mistaken and think it's a different console because there was a huge difference. And no, that's not going to happen for this generation. But you will see differences from games from like 2013 and games from 2018 and maybe even 2019. And if you are looking for the best performance and best visuals on an Xbox console, I would definitely recommend getting the Xbox One X if you will save up for it, because I'm not saying that you should go out and buy this even if you do have an Xbox One. That's for the person who is saving up money for this, because there's plenty of time, who doesn't have an Xbox One or maybe has an Xbox One and is just looking for that better performance and better visuals. And also, one thing that I was surprised by the most, I knew there'd be exclusives. I knew there'd be the Scorpio announcement. Something I don't think I or anyone saw coming was original Xbox games backwards compatibility. It's one thing to have last gen backwards compatibility with 360, which is definitely a nice feature, and people probably weren't too surprised. They're like, yeah, the 360 had it, the Xbox One should have it. So it was a surprise, but not a huge surprise. It wasn't something that people um, had no idea of, but the original Xbox backwards compatibility on the Xbox One is huge, because a lot of people have the 360 and still have it, since it is a fairly new console when you think about it, because they stopped making it in 2015, so it's still, the latest models are still fairly new. Of course, the console itself is pretty old. It's from 2005. And also, it sold like 86 million units. So most people who do have an Xbox One probably have an Xbox 360. But the original Xbox sold okay. It sold in the 20 millions. And that was, when was it? 2001. So it was 16 years ago. So a lot of people probably don't use their Xbox anymore. Maybe they don't have one. Maybe it broke. There's a lot of factors. And the Xbox, the original one, did have a lot of great games, and a lot of people would probably never get to play those games. Um, I think they were talking about some game called Crimson Skies. It could be wrong. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I never played it because when the GameCube, the Xbox, and the PlayStation 2 was around, that's when I started playing video games. I didn't own any consoles. I just played on computers because I was really young when those consoles were released, and I didn't really play like real video games at that time. It wasn't until the seventh generation of consoles where I started to play a lot of video games, such as the Wii. Like, the Wii has my favorite video games of all time, or at least three of them: Super Paper Mario and the Galaxy games. So I can't wait to play these games, especially some Xbox games. I actually do have an Xbox game. I have Morrowind on the Xbox. I just don't have an original Xbox because I got it for really cheap, so I decided to get it. And that's really all I wanted to talk about. And one last thing, I don't really want to talk about this for too long, but Xbox showed off a lot of different genres: open world, RPG, MMO, strategy, survival. Of course, there was Crackdown 3, which I don't even know what genre you'd consider that. I guess action, but it's probably some subgenre. They showed off a lot of genres, which I think was very good. Instead of just showing off like the standard multiplayer FPS game or the standard just random multiplayer game where you do missions, they showed off a ton of games. I think Xbox definitely has a strong chance of winning um, E3, even though that's not really official, but the fans will know. So EA, of course, they don't have their own console, so the E3 won't be as good. Same with Ubisoft and Bethesda. So it's really down to Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo. And Nintendo, I want them to announce a lot of new games, because I think they do need it with the Switch launching. And I only have 2 Switch games right now. I'm going to get more, and I really do want to see more games like Mario and Rabbids. Um, it's made by Ubisoft, so it's probably not going to be as good as the other Mario RPGs. But they really need more games. Sony, they already have a lot of games, and we don't know what else is coming up. They have God of War, Uncharted Lost Legacy, which I'm not really too interested in seeing more gameplay, because I don't want it to be spoiled since it's releasing so soon and we've seen a decent amount of gameplay. Last of Us 2, I'd want to see some of the beginning of the game, because I'm usually not afraid to see spoilers of the beginning of the game. Like, I would say the first 30 to 40 minutes is okay. Anything past that, then I would consider it a spoiler. So I can't wait to see Last of Us Part 2 gameplay and the Spider-Man game. And plus, Sony is known for their big announcements. So if Sony can't beat Xbox in E3, I wouldn't be surprised. Xbox really went all out this year. I think this was their best E3 in a while, maybe even ever. That's a bold statement, but if you saw the E3, you probably understand. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about Xbox's E3 in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.